Smart contracts have the potential to enable exchanges of money, property, shares, and pretty much anything that can be captured in logic. And the important part is that this can be done without a trusted third party, as it has been done historically. Remember, when it comes to the blockchain platforms and smart contracts, this logic, this contract is operating in the context of an identity that is provided by the owner of the account, even if that is anonymous, in a currency that is accessible through the platform. So we have the three components of contract, identity, and currency. But what are they really? What is a smart contract? So here to start off, we'll write a very simple one, a hello world smart contract. And so let's go ahead and move over to the browser. And before we start writing, let me just make a comment when it comes to the account that we will use in MetaMask. In this case, I'm using the account that I have labeled Veronica, and it simply has a couple of Ether. And if we take a look at it, if we open up the account on Etherscan, we will do that here. You'll see that it only has one transaction, and the transaction is the one of me pushing 2 Ether into this account. So let's go ahead and navigate to the online editor that will allow us to write a contract. And that editor is Remix from the Ethereum Foundation. And as you can see here, it provides you with a default smart contract that you could use or that you could play around with that is called Ballot. Now we're going to go ahead and use the same file, but we'll delete the contents and we'll write something much simpler to illustrate a bare bones example. What we're going to enter first in the first line is the version of the language that we're going to be using. And as you can see, it is the following. We'll then write the contract, as you can see here. And our contract name will be hello. And we have matching opening and ending curly braces, as you can see. We'll then write a function, and this function name will be get. And when we call the contract, we will call the contract call hello and the method called get. We will then enter a few parameters. This is public, pure, and returns a string. And the body of the function is the following. It simply returns a hello world. We're going to enter that here. And with a few exclamation points, and then a line terminator of a semicolon. Now, once we've done that, we can go ahead and start the compilation. And it looks like we made a string here in return. This should be plural in this language. And so let me go ahead and compile again. And as you can see there, this has successfully compiled. Now we can go ahead and run this, but we're going to go ahead and deploy it to the blockchain. And so this will be a contract that I am deploying that is being created by the account that we have labeled Veronica. So let me go ahead and enter that now. And as you can see there, the deployment is taking place. I get a notification in my MetaMask client, and it asks me to confirm. I'm going to go ahead and say yes. And once that contract is deployed and it has been incorporated into a block and into the blockchain, we will get a little notification here on the right showing us that that contract has been deployed. So let's go ahead and navigate to the contract on Etherscan while we wait. And in fact, this has been successful already, even though we didn't get the notification within the client. Now, once we have that, as you note here, we get an address for the contract. And we get, well, let me go ahead and show you before I move away, that we have an address here too in the transaction now that it has been incorporated. And if we click on it, you'll see that we have a contract address, as you can see here across the top. And this is now part of the blockchain. Now, when we come back to the editor, you can see here that that address is reflected. So if you see 0xBCE, and we go to this contract here, you can see that it also starts in 0xBCE. And so we're interacting with the live contract that is now on the blockchain. And we can go ahead and invoke the one method that we created. And so if we press on get, we should see back hello world. And we do. And so as you can see, this is an end-to-end example of a very, very, very tiny smart contract that we deployed to the blockchain through the account on MetaMask, and that is now available to the world. It is a public contract that anyone can execute. We will do richer contracts in future lessons. And for now, go ahead and practice this contract and make sure that you can create one and deploy it to the blockchain and then invoke one of its methods.